Eagle double G. Eagle double G.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Philip from Los Santos, Bosque, and in today's episode, as you can see, we have put it in the previous episode. We put it Tatsuma together, suspension and the interior is completely put it together. Now, I'm gonna open the channel because there is one little thing I have to do. And to do it, I have to go underneath the car, and there is this little screw number 5 here that you have to screw in, so that way you have a handbrake working. In the previous episodes, as you remember, I unplugged the phone, but when it looks, they're still ringing. That's the job in Paris Giovanni. Empty storage tank. Let's just unplug it for now, and let's just continue building until, everything is the way it should be. We start building engine in a minute, but before we start building engine, let's put the fuel pressure tank and everything in the cap. There we go. Now we're gonna put the fuel tank in. That way we don't have to struggle with that in the future. Yeah. Now we have to go, my friends, and get a toolbox set, which is this thing, and we're gonna have to bring down. And remember, I'm gonna tell you this just once, that if you forget to close this off, you're gonna lose diesel out of your car. Petrol, sorry, because diesel is a truck. This car is old Satsuma, so it's petrol. Now all we do is slowly closing down the fuel thing. We're not gonna put in the fuel until last minute. That means when we have engine and everything, we're gonna put all the fuel essentials together. Like, we're gonna put oil to engine, we're gonna put in other things that comes with it as well. So that way, at least we're gonna have everything in under one thing. I could put the exhaust on now, but then let's see if the car is gonna accept it. Because sometimes when you have to tick, you gotta tick, and then you put it on, it just falls off. So I always try to put in the exhaust if I can. So let's say we do all the underground work first. Let's try again. But this time, if we get to tick, let's just, take the tick. Also, the way I sometimes do is with the exhaust. I go like this, and I go like this. And sometimes you get on the floor tick, see? It fell off. As you saw. Let's try again. sometimes it falls off. It's normal. If that happens at your end, that's normal that exhaust falls off. Because I think there is no engine. But I don't know. To be honest, why it falls off? Well, we can. There we go. It's on. And there is no rules. But when do you put the exhaust in? Well, you can close down this screw if you want. That holds the whole exhaust. But since we're gonna show you some things, I'm just gonna. Some people think it's like in other games that you just, you put in, right, like this, and then some people say, oh, that's easy. All I have to do is just put the engine together. Because look, I have a tick and everything. But no, you have to close down the screws. Now we're here. We're gonna get a few things. And the things I'm gonna get is this, and this. We're gonna go like this. Then we're gonna go. I'm gonna show you what I mean. I'll show you something cool. Since we're already messing with the mods, let's say you want to pause this. You hear that? That means it's paused now. And let's say, okay, you go here, look, time skip. You can go, for example, skip postcode order wait. And I think if you go here, when the shop is open, you're gonna get this space here. But let's go back home and finish working on this car. Okay, we have exhaust. Yes, we have exhaust. Put it on. Let's get my toolbox underneath there. Because we're down for a bit underneath the car. Now, what we're gonna do is close down these, but they're number 7, I assume. No, 8s, I think. No, 9s. I forgot because it was a long time since I put the engine together. I have the ratchet system. There we go. Slowly put on. We have to make sure that the screws and everything is in. Now let's put in the pistons. Now we add it. Because I think number 4 it goes like this. Then that's number 3. And 2. And then 1. And now we got more screws to put in, and they're number 7. If you don't close these and you start the car, you're gonna bend the crankshaft. And then you're gonna have to go to Flataris to replace for another one, and that's gonna cost you a bit of money to get that fixed. So I'd be very careful and make sure all the screws are screwed in. So that way you have no problems in the future. That's that. Okay. I'm gonna put that last. Alright, there's no rules. There we go. Then we're gonna put in the engine plate. Then we're gonna build the clutch. I'm gonna put it on the table here. I'm gonna grab the flywheel, which goes here, but not yet, because we need to close this down. Because once we have engine on, we won't be able. Oh, wait. I wonder if it's still gonna work. There we go. I have a nice red engine block. I could make it white if I want to. But I thought we're gonna leave that engine red because it looks cool. We're just gonna close more screws in like this. And one more tip before you forget, if you put this on, make sure you grab yourself a spanner 13 and close down the oil plug. So that way you have no problems in the future, because sometimes you could forget about it and you end up, you're gonna end up doing something you don't want to do, and you're gonna pour in the oil and you'll be like, I'm pouring the oil forever, but then it's coming out the other end. So you also have to be careful that you're not gonna waste oils, because sometimes I can do in this update or on the old one when this game was made, you didn't have to. If you look closely, I'm gonna show you when I zoom in. You see there is like an arrow. Well, you can't see because the light is pouring this game. You see the line? I show you. Once we put that on here, you see this line. This line has to align with this. That's the timing you have to do. So let's say, watch closely. Now you see I'm turning the crankshaft because I have to make sure it's aligned with the line before I put the timing chain. And to check that is you go with your mouse cursor and there you go, it's aligned. So you just did alignment. Because if you forget about that, your car is going to misfire, or it's going to start and it's going to go off again. And I know that you don't want that to happen. I'm not sure if you can paint timing cover, because I don't think you can paint everything. Or you can paint only certain parts, like air filter, bumpers. You see the rocket cover and the crankshaft pulley, but you can only paint them before you put it on the car, because once you screw them in, then that's it. So let's not get ourselves carried away, and let's just get these things put on. I think they're number 7s. No, they're number 6, my friends. Number 7 is for the water pump and the pump itself. By the way, if you people watching this, I don't use any My Summer guides to build these cars. I just, I was somewhere on the permanent depth that I'm used to the screw sizes in this game, and also I was a car mechanic in real life. So for me, building engine is not a problem. But if you want to use guide, you can always use the guide. I have nothing against that. If some people think that the guide can help them, all I say to you, go use it. Sometimes the guide doesn't explain well. The guide tells you that in the first day you're supposed to go to the shop and buy things, but that's in the older version. The newer version, you don't get van from uncle. You have to go and see whenever you can meet with him, and then you have to talk to him, and then he's gonna tell you that he got caught drinking, and he's gonna give you a keys to his truck and the van, and then he says when you finish with the van, you have to return it to his house, but no one actually does. You can't keep it in front of your house like I do. But I don't think when you start the game straight away, I don't know. Sometimes it's like when you start the game, it's always Monday, let's say. So I'm not sure if he's gonna spawn in for you the first day. Maybe if you're lucky, you might get him on the first day. Depends. Sometimes it's Wednesday. Sometimes you just have to sleep a few days before you start building the car, but then you're gonna have to build delayed a bit. But that's up to you. Like you're the one who's building your car the way you want it to be. So like I just showed you, I ordered the package and I skipped the order, but I think he's gonna call me in the morning because I can't do like skip the post wait. But to do that, remember it has to be morning time whenever he's open, and all you do is just drive in and pay for your order. And you cannot order anything else until the first order is cleared, are paid for, and collected. Now, let's close these. In my previous save, the one before I start, building this car from the scratch for you, people and friends, I noticed that once you order things in the shop and pick up, you're gonna get like a cross sign saying, yeah, you already picked it up from the store, so you own it already. So for now, we're not gonna put any fancy things. We're just gonna make sure this car passes the test. That means we have to bring the triangle with us, spare wheel if you want to. If you want to be, for example, more specific and realistic. But I don't think it matters, to be honest. One thing is you can use screwdriver to see those screws here. You can align them, but I wouldn't mess with that. I will go to Flatari and then ask him to do it for you. Like, you can get your timing checked, your engine checked, and then retuned. That means it's gonna tune the calibrator and everything for you. Because when you start, it's gonna shoot. You can try to do it yourself. There's guides on the internet. You just type in, let's say, how to regulate the carburetor in my summer car, and there's a video, and then it's going to tell you, like, let's say you do 14 turns into left, and you do 20 turns into right, and there you go. That's your engine tuned, that's your carburetor tuned, and it's cheaper. So you don't have to go and get your wheels aligned or anything like that if you don't want to waste money. To me, it doesn't matter, to be honest. In this episode, I'm gonna show you everything from the scratch. Well, not episode, in this series. Since I said in this first and second video, when I'm gonna make it, it's gonna be all about building the engine and wiring for this car. So we're gonna make this the way it's supposed to be, which is building the engine. And now, clutch. But I can do other things while we wait for the clutch. Like, I show you something cool. For example, if you want to, in the future that is, I always bring it close because you have to put the belt on. Then you have fuel pump that goes on. Can't see, the light is horrible in this game. Let me see, I have to look around the engine. There it goes. Right here. And the screws are number 6. If I'm not mistaken. Let me see when I can find them. No, the number 5, I think. They're the smallest. No, there could be 7. That could be changed. I always put engine flat. Let's grab number 7. Some of these things can only be tightened by the screwdriver. That's your water pump on the car. Now we have to do is put in what is called the oil filter. You can buy a better one if you want. I'm gonna buy it on the next oil change. Then you have carburetor that can be calibrated. By the way, you can calibrate it because all you have to do is turn with the screwdriver, because when you start, you're gonna hear like a click, 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 click noise. If you do, all you have to do then afterwards is, let's say, you hear the clicking noise, and then all you do is go tick, 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 like, turn around, then you set it up, and then you close it. And then there you go. I didn't set it up, but that's what I'm saying. Let's see what we left with. We are left with carburetor, electrics, starter, and that's the gearbox cover that you can put at last, because that's to turn the thing. You want to change the clutch without removing the gearbox of the car, that is. So all we do is we grab the block, we come out a bit like what? Okay, in real life that will crack. And there you go. Your hard work gone down the bin. There we go. I assume they're number 7s. Yeah, not screwdriver. I think they're number 7 screws. The next one I think is number 6. There you go. You just screw that in. Make sure you don't miss any screws, because if you miss screws, then, well, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I think you won't be able to drive. You'll be gonna be sitting motionless. You're gonna be giving like a accelerator, like, why is it not driving? And then you notice that you forgot to screw in the gear selector, which goes at the end of the gearbox. We're gonna have to put in the engine next. Then the wires running wires. I'm gonna have to make sure the battery is the last thing I'm gonna wire, because I don't want to get electrocuted by the battery, by the way. Then you just check if all the screws are in the place. Then you can grab the engine block if you want and put it that way. Grab yourself a gearbox. Slam it on. Look, I think that's what it is for. So turn the gearbox. You don't screw this in. Those 4 screws are for, my friends, these things, the inspection cover. You won't be able to put it on if you have screws screwed in. And then it's already number 7. But no, that's 6, sorry. I looked at the wrong numbers. And then all you do is make sure you have all the screws in. All of them. You don't want to miss a single screw. Right, let me see. All of them are screwed in. Then we look if there's any of them sticking out here. I think there's one here. There is one here. I'm just gonna have to highlight it to make sure it's all the way in. Another one. Right, then we grab number 10. And then we screw in this thing that holds the gearbox. At the moment, I'm not screwing this in because I think that's where the cable is gonna go. Next thing is on the gearbox itself, a gear selector, which is this thing, a drive gear selector. And they are number 6. Because in previous, when I was playing this before, whenever I saved the game, this little screw wouldn't screw in. This one wouldn't screw in for me. You know? So I had to make sure that all of this is screwed in, because if you're going to put into gear, it's going to be a mess. So you don't want to have a mess. So all you do is, for all these things, but usually I do is grab the block and put it that way, so I can see which ones I screwed in and which one I didn't. So you do is just screw all these screws in, walking around the engine. Make sure that all of them are screwed in, including this little guy. Then we're going to grab the engine. So all we left is with the electronics and the header for the exhaust. So I think we can put that on. Then carburetor can go on as well. And I'm assuming they're all number 8 screws. I'm just double checking. Yes, they are. So the way I do is I remove this for a minute, so I can screw in the first screws. Because if you don't screw it in, you might have a problem later on. That's gonna be it's a basic problem, to be honest. It's just you're gonna have exhaust leakage, and your car might go on fire. And I know that you don't want that happening, especially all the hard work you put in into building this car from the scratch. Then you have to bring it to Flat Harry, and then you have to spend money getting it fixed and all. Right, so all we do is like this, can go to here, and then we just do the remaining screws. I'm just making sure that this is all the screws screwed in. You don't want none to be left behind. There we go. And that's the throttle system, as you can see. We can as well put in the air filter while we at it. The air filter is held by the two screws here. Like this. Now that it's starting to look like an engine, we are putting the remaining part, which is the starter. I'm not going to screw in the screws yet because there is going to go on top of it, it's going to go a cable that has to be run because we have to wire the car as well. Don't forget that we have to wire it. In previous updates, there was spark plugs, like, every spark plug has to go in the right place, like a piston cylinder, like, there was spark plug number 4, you have to put in the hole 4, spark plug 3 goes in the hole 3, spark plug goes 2. Right, let me just go drink the water. We are not that tired much yet, so I'm not worried about it. But if you want to go to sleep, I have to make sure I turn off the light. Then I turn off light here. I have light here, but we turn off the light here. I don't need light here. And let's go to sleep. So next morning we continue our work. It's Wednesday. Because I think it's gonna call about the order. Alright, let's see. Yes. We have to go for the spark plug wrench. That's the end. Screw in spark plugs all the way. All the way. All the way. You don't want to leave one behind. Apparently the radio still has to be wired. Like ignition has to be wired. What are we left with? We are left with radar and the exhaust itself. This thing has to be wired as well. But before we wire anything, I'm gonna close the pit. Now we got number 7. Hopping into the little car. You see there's lots of things to be wired. Even the lights has to be wired. There's so much things that you need to wire before the car will start for ya. So as you can see, I'm just making sure the radiator is in place. Okay, we have exhausts and all these screws already screwed in, so we don't have to mess with them. Let's see. Oh, I'm coming, sir. Thank you, sir. My order arrived. We're gonna go after we get this monster to start. Right, so radiator is in place. Let's not forget this, because I'm not gonna charge the alternator. We need belt to be on it. And look, I show you something, guys. Look, if you go all the way like this, it's gonna squeak. So you go 1, 2, out. Then I have to grab the screwdriver and tighten the alternator. There we go. The alternator is not secured, I can tell. So we grab number 10 and secure it. Then we grab this, number 8, because we have to make sure it runs wires. And I show you the way if you don't want to use the engine cranker. What I usually do in this situation is I go here, I bring one beer case with me. You can like slide it underneath it, so it's in line with the engine like this. Imagine, make sure it's straight like here, and then you lay the engine on it. Alright, so before we continue on, I say let's start wiring things. Or not. Not interested. Right, because you can see. We have to wire lights as well. And we have to wire fuel pump. So the first things first is, is the ignition. I'll say we need to wire lights. We need to wire instrumental panel. We need to wire radio, instrumental panel 2. Then we have to, sorry, it looks like I dropped it. Then we have to go to the fuse box. No, I'm busy wiring. And then I think you can see what you wired and what you didn't wire. Because you hear like a, you know, like, you know, then you know. Well, I always double wire things, you know, like flash connector. I make sure radio is wired. There's a fuse box. Then you go to main connector, then to regulator, and then I say we have to wire things like radiator. We have to wire headlights. No, because you need headlights when driving. Let's see. We need to starter wired. Then now I have to make sure everything is wired, you see? So front lights are wired by the looks. Ish, you see, look. Regulator has to go to main harness. Then you have regulator has to go to, I think, starter and all that stuff. Now, let's see if we have everything wired. And I think the way engine goes is this way. Oh, you just drop it in. Let me quickly go before it starts glitching. There you go, number 11. And look, you look for the screws. If they match, then you just screw it in. You know? So let me try again. I'm gonna grab the engine and try to shift it in properly. No, we have to do it again. Because the engine is kind of sideways. I should be this way. And then you do just screw it in. And that's the way if you don't want to do, that's the way if you want to do it without using the hoist. I have to make sure everything is connected. Alright, let me just take this off. Let's see, sorry, regulator. Then we have to go to battery ground. Because we need battery ground. Then we go alternator. Then we go to regulator. Then we go main harness. Then we go starter. And then assume, wait. I assume we have to get the ground cable. So then I think we just go. We have to make sure everything is connected, including the battery ground connector now. Now we have to connect fuel pump. Has to be connected. So don't forget that. And I think ignition. I have to check how many things so far are connected. Light switch. Radio. Now I'm gonna put in the battery. Because I think battery ground goes to like this. Starter goes. There we go. And I think to get it working, we have to put in the light. Oh, yeah, see, one of those lights has to go in. So we can actually start the connectors for it. I tell ya, if you wire it correctly, you will know. There you go. Okay, now we have to grab another light and then prop it in. Because I think they have to be individually connected. If I'm not mistaken. Headlights harness has to get connected to here. Let's see. We'll know after I connect the battery. 2. I think you always start with the negative. Then you go positive. There we go. And then we check for the light inside. There's no light. Ignition. Could be the battery dead. Where did I put the wire harness? Now let's see. I'm just checking if everything is wired. Now we have to do is number 7, I assume. And screw that in. Is there something else that has to be screwed in? Number wise, I think there's something with number 5 that's supposed to be screwed in. That's just the Well, safety connector. And I'm thinking, I think I'm only left with the starter or alternator to be wired. Because tell you, this is not easy. There's something not connected here. Let's see. Dash connectors. Going to this box. No. Okay. So wire from the ignition. Okay. There it is. I think the battery is dead. So, since I will never know if we did correctly until I actually gonna be able to go to the shop. So, we're not gonna drive to the shop. So I can get the battery really quick. We are gonna teleport ourselves. Hold on, little man. What's the new title? I know. Now let's go home. And let's see. Battery. What does remember what we bought? I think we have headlamps. Then we have the exhausting ends and the aerial for the radio. There's two of them, but what we're gonna do is put in the new battery. I have no time to drive because that would be too long of the video. I promise we're gonna start the car today in this video, so I will do whatever it takes to make sure this thing starts before we leave. And I hear like a sounds of making electricity noise, like electricity cables going bzz, 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 like that. That means I connected it the wrong way. I assume you always start with this one. No. You hear that? That battery works. And I didn't get electrocuted. I could, and then I will die, and it says young man died. I don't know, wearing headset or whatever. Now, let's not go off the topic, and let's put in a light bulb. We're just gonna start her up, that's all. Next day we're gonna do panels. And I'm gonna hear her purring for the first time in history. Right. There we go. Now I can check something. If I did something good. Yeah, light is on. Ignition. We want to make sure the lights are lighting up. Yep. We cannot do, the lighting yet properly because the car has no hoses for the thing. See, there's things on the hoses, so we have to make sure they get tied up, because then we're gonna lose the thing for the hose. There we go. Then I assume this thing goes here. Can't go any farther, so I have to run over around it. Now we connect main hose that goes on the top. Right. Now we have to grab screwdriver and then tighten this up until we won't hear it tightening it. Let's not forget that we still have to tighten the exhaust. Here's another one. And I assume this is the last one. Alright, and now I think spanner number 7. To secure the missing parts. To be honest, I can't see. There. Okay, there's another one here. We're going to do accessories and the rest of it later. First things first. We have to put in brake fluid and all these. We have to put in oil. Now let's the fun begin. We're going to take one bottle at a time. I can't see. So it's going to be hard to know which one I was filling up. Can't be empty already, is it? Wow. Yeah, the 1 liter, so empty as well. It's hard to navigate. Oh, give me a minute. It says brake fluid on it. I have to make sure there is everywhere this. Because I think I can't go with the car if it's not filled all the way. I think the way you can do is like that, and then make sure it's like that, and then just go like that until you see. Okay, I assume all of them are filled out. The only one we can check is if we put the handbrake on and try to push it. Or maybe no later. Yeah, okay, now let's see. Okay, I'll go this down, this down, this down. Now, now we need this all. We need all this to be done. Co? Co chcesz? Szybko mów. Nie wiem za co instrukcji. All right, so let's see. Last thing to be filled out before I go. Yeah. Okay. Now, where is the petrol? Oh, it's outside over. It's there. Cool. Let's do this quickly. Come on. Let's see. It's empty by now since gasolinas. Okay, let's see. Seriously, something is up. I think it's the starter. It's always like that. Where is the wires? Where are they? There's always something missing in this carriage. It's gotta be on the car again. Inside the car, right? Where is it? I just messed everything. Cause I know starter is not starting. So that means I might have missed something. I think the ignition is not wired. Ah, stupid. I think it's actually that something is not wired. Did I miss something? At wiring? Let's see. Hmm. Can't be some. I think I have everything wired. Everything should be wired. I don't know. Let me try something and then I don't know what's going on. No, I don't think that has something to. I don't think that has anything to do with it. But you never know. It looks like there's something missing. Let me see. Now I know I wasn't starting. Well, let's hope that's it. Because I want to finish this video. It's getting too long. Let's try again. There you go, guys. It starts. So, guys, like I promised you, it starts. So, thank you for watching. My name is Philip from channel Los Santos Bosquejite, and I'll see you in the next video. It starts. Let's see if it drives before we go. It drives too. Thanks. Bye. Have a good day.